all the distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all the eminent personalities, the dignitaries, the esteemed guests.
Allahabad University Alumini Association, and I proudly inform you that our Vice Chancellor of our alma mater is present here to interact with us. So I will request Shri Rajkamal Gupta to escort our chief guest, Professor Sangeeta Srivastava. I will request Mr. Piyush to escort our guest of honor, Shri B.K. Chaturvedi, on the dais. I request Mr. Subhosh Kumar Gupta to escort our President, Shri Yogen Narayan, on the dais. I am handing over the mic to Rajkamal Gupta ji for moderation. Thank you.
Good evening to all the distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all the eminent personalities, the dignitaries, the esteemed guests. I was expecting a very big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. It was a bit feeble, but anyway, it'll do for the time being. We intend to have a high-octane program and build up the tempo gradually. Today happens to be one of these rarest of rare opportunities, at least for me, for getting this opportunity to host, to play the host on this day. In the last 25 years, since the time I have been associated with Alumni Association, and as a matter of fact, when I was studying in Allahabad University from 1978 till 1983, never ever got the opportunity of meeting or seeing the Honorable Vice Chancellor in person. Deepest thanks to Allahabad University Alumni Association for giving me at least this historical moment, which I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life, of meeting and greeting and seeing the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the Oxford of East in person for the first time. I do not know whether this opportunity will come again in my life or not. But so long as I'm alive, I'm going to cherish this moment forever. Once again, let me extend a very, very warm welcome to all the guests who have found time on a working day to be present over here, and very deep gratitude to all the esteemed guests, including the Honorable Vice Chancellor. Without taking too much of time, I was advised and directed not to indulge in too much of discussion while, coordinating and moderating the program. But then, generally by habit, men are greedy, and I cannot resist the temptation of quoting, of sharing with all of you, ladies and gentlemen, a small clip of the Honorable Vice Chancellor, which I had a chance to see. And those words, they were very, very valuable pearls of enlightenment. I hope all of you would agree कि कल्याणकारी हवन करने में अगर उंगलियां थोड़ी सी जल जाएं तो उसको सौभाग्य समझना चाहिए. I happened to, ma'am, I was surfing through the net and I saw this small clip in which you were probably giving a small interview to some reporters, to some journalists, and I was able to pick up these few words. Maybe I have not used the exact words. I'm not an academician, so my choice of words is not going to be as unique, as brilliant as hers. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, at this great moment, on this great day, I would request our President, Mr. Yogendra Narayan, former Defense Secretary, to please present a bunch of beautiful flowers. Mr. Rakesh Sahni may kindly help me in organizing quickly. Mr. Rakesh Sahni, please. Okay, it's already there. I would request our President, Mr. Yogendra Narayan, to present a bunch of beautiful flowers to the most gracious personality of the prevailing times, Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Sangeeta Shrivastava. Applause रुकना नहीं चाहिए, ladies and gentlemen, थोड़ी एनर्जी दिखाइए, please. Thank you, sir. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us another highly decorated and a distinguished personality, Mr. B.K. Chaturvedi, former Cabinet Secretary, Government of India, and I would request our Honorary Secretary, who doesn't need any introduction, Dr. R.K. Shrivastava, to kindly welcome with a beautiful bouquet of flowers. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for finding time and having gracefully accepted our invitation to grace this occasion. Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would request Mr. S.S. Bajpai, sir, to please come on stage and do the honors of welcoming and extending the gratitude on behalf of the entire Alumni Association to none other than our President, Mr. Yogendra Narayan, as I said, former Defense Secretary, with a beautiful flower of bouquet. Thank you so much, sir. तालियां कम होती जा रही हैं. And now, our very dear friend, Mr. Sanjay Misra, who has been one of the strongest pillar in managing all programs, may kindly do the honors of presenting a bouquet to our Honorary Secretary, Dr. R.K. Shrivastava. The least said about him, I've been seeing him working tirelessly in spite of all his major responsibilities at various prominent hospitals of the country. Still been finding time very, very energetically to fulfill the responsibility very efficiently for the Alumni Association. Well, I once again request Dr. R.K. Shrivastava to request on behalf of the Alumni Association, request to our President, Mr. Yogendra Narayan, or maybe I can make the request on his behalf. Okay. I would request our President, Mr. Yogendra Narayan, to kindly welcome the guests, all the esteemed personalities, and all the guests present over here, and say a few words about the Alumni Association for all those who are probably coming for the first time or they have come for a few times in the past. Thank you very much, sir. Shall I get you a mic there? Thank you, sir.
Our Honorable Madam Vice Chancellor, Srimati Sangeeta Srivastav ji, my distinguished colleague, Shri B.K. Chaturvedi, former Cabinet Secretary, our Honorary Secretary, a very active Honorary Secretary of the Alumni Association, Dr. R.K. Srivastav, distinguished alumni sitting in the hall, guests, ladies and gentlemen.
There is one course in disaster.
It's a pleasure to have all of you here on this occasion when I think for the first time the Alumni Association is felicitating the Vice Chancellor of our university. And I am very grateful to Sangeeta ji for kindly accepting our request to come here and be with us today. I would start off by saying, Sangeeta ji, that we are delighted to have you here. Really delighted. We talk so much about the Allahabad University in our meetings, that this should be done, that should be done, but you are here to present the actual picture. And really, it's a great honor to us that you accepted to come all the way from Allahabad and be with us today. Some months back, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, who is coming out with a coffee table book on Allahabad University, asked me to pen a few lines for that coffee table book. And I started off by saying, to live in Allahabad is heavenly, to study in Allahabad University is divine. And I truly feel that way. My wife is also an alumni of Allahabad University, and though we were separated by time, but we are together in matrimony. The University of Allahabad is the fourth oldest university in India, an institution that has produced innumerable political figures, jurists, civil servants, writers and men of letters. Motilal Nehru, Madan Mohan Malviya, Dr. Meghnad Saha, Harvansh Rai Bachchan, Firag Gorakhpuri, Dhanveer Bharti ji, Mahadevi Verma, Pandit Govind Vallabh Pant are some of the very famous ones. Apart from these people, we had famous vice chancellors who are still remembered by their name even today. Shri Sundarlal ji, Shri Ganganath Jha, Shri Amarnath Jha, who were legends in themselves, and they are still remembered very fondly even today. In my own time, I also remember working with eminent politicians like Narayan Dutt Tiwari, Shri Murli Manohar Joshi, Shri V.P. Singh, Shri Chandrasekhar, and apart from vice chancellors, respected professors like Professor K.K. Malhotra, P.D. Hajela, B.S. Narwane, Tara Chand, A.D. Pant, T. Pati. I wonder how many of you remember T. Pati. He was our mathematics head. And there are very interesting stories about him. He and his father were very good students of Sanskrit. So whenever the story was, I can't vouchsafe it, that whenever they had a difference of opinion, they would argue in Sanskrit. And they could do it very professionally and proficiently. We also had, in the economics, we have produced a lot of interesting and respected professors. One of them was Mr. J.K. Mehta. I wonder if you remember them. You do? Very nice. He initiated the theory of wantlessness. This is what he initiated is that if you lessen the wants, your economy will go up. It became a very famous theory in our time. Also, there were several cultural and literary clubs in our time, like the Elysium Club, the Friday Club, and the Elite Club, which motivated us to speak and discuss burning issues. All of them made the Allahabad Alumni University an institution of eminence. If I am right, BK, Elite Club was your club, founded by you all. So nostalgia is very much there in this name. The university has also produced eminent judges who were prominent members of the High Courts and Supreme Court. One of the Supreme Court judge today is also the respected husband of our respected Vice Chancellor. He is serving in the Supreme Court, and we are very, very proud of him. Apart from the judiciary, the university has also produced civil servants who have risen to the highest positions of cabinet secretary, like Mr. B.K. Chaturvedi, chief secretaries of states, secretary to the prime ministers, secretary generals in parliament, and here I must mention our most notable former president of the alumni session, Shri Subhash Kashyap. We remember him. He is unwell and he couldn't come today, but we are very much in contact with him, and we are very proud about him. Then secretaries in the center and states, ambassadors and high ranks in other departments. We are justifiably proud of them. Amongst writers too, we have Miss Mrinal Pandey, who was my contemporary and was also a member of the Friday Club, to which we all belonged, and Shri Kamleshwar, who was another famous. I'm sure there are many other names. These are some names I remember with great respect. Our alumni session would like to partner with the university in maintaining and reviving the reputation it had earlier. Do let us know, Madam Vice Chancellor, how you can utilize our members in this task. In this context, I would suggest also that we do not get the actual developments taking place in the university, and all sorts of rumors keep on floating, that if an annual report of the university could be printed and circulated to all of us with the distinguished alumni and other distinguished professors, etc., it will make us more proud than what we already have. We look forward eagerly to hear the Madam Vice Chancellor on the steps she is taking to revive academic excellence in the university, which is the topic of her speech today. This university has had a glorious past and looks forward to a more glorious future. Before I end, let me close by quoting some lines from Shakespeare, which I thought aptly describe our university. He writes, "Age cannot wither her, nor custom stale her infinite variety." And I think that's true of Allahabad University. With these words, I would now request our colleague to take over the microphone and proceed further with the program.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your brief but very enlightening session, enlightening us about the brief history of Allahabad University. I would now request our Honorary Secretary, Mr. Dr. R.K. Shrivastava, to please come on the podium and give a brief introduction about the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Sangeeta Shrivastava. Thank you, sir.
There is one course in disaster.
Friends, I am honored to introduce Professor Sangeeta Shrivastava, our Vice Chancellor of University of Allahabad. She is also our alumnus of Allahabad University, and more so of Agricultural Institute of associated with Allahabad University, which is situated in Naini. She has schooled at St. Mary Convent, Allahabad, And after that, she joined BSc Home Economics in Allahabad University. She cleared it in first division. Then she did MSc in Textile and Clothing from Rani Durgavati University, Jabalpur in first division. And afterwards, PhD in Chemistry of Thylene and Succeaning dye from Allahabad University. After that, she joined as faculty to the same university, Allahabad University, in 1989, and taught the subjects textile chemistry, child psychology, entrepreneurship, human physiology, interior decoration, and landscaping to undergraduate and postgraduate students. Under her, 10 students were awarded PhD. She has 2 patents to her credit and published more than 50 publications in national international journals. She has authored the books also, which I will be telling you later on. And after some time, she joined as Vice Chancellor at Professor Rajendra Singh University. She accomplished some big tasks there. As the new faculty were recruited, the infrastructure of the university was developed and new academic programs and academic courses were started there. Afterwards, she joined as Vice Chancellor of Allahabad University. And here, she has many initiatives and accomplishments as Vice Chancellor. To name few, she has completed recruitment and promotions of teaching faculty long due. She also recruited non-teaching staff, which were quite short in university. Academic initiatives included new education policy, which is under process, and 6 new integrated courses offered to the students. She started language lab. Now NCC, a form of integral part of new course as per mandate of NEP, has started under her leadership. One controversial thing I would also like to mention, that she hiked the fees. Students protested, but later on they realized that this is necessary as university has to generate the funds also. She started a sports facility, international hockey turf, lawn tennis, volleyball, basketball, cricket stadiums in new forms. Auditorium of 1500 capacity is being built. An open air theater is being built. The incubation center, a small auditorium of 350 capacity, has been functional. Child care facility has been developed. 30 residential units for the faculty has been made and allotted. She acquired some properties for the university also, as the Hindu hostel has been acquired and now the process of making new hostel is under process. She also developed some plan for beautification and cleanliness of the campus. The books authored by her are, to name few, are Fiber, Fabric and Fashion, The Chemistry of Natural and Man-Made Fibers, Vastra Vigyan Ka Parichay, and Basic of Fashion Technology. She has given keynote lectures in more than 30 numbers in different conferences. She is member of several academic bodies and She has done infrastructural support to the department and academic development. She has been awarded many awards. An honorary Colonel Commandant rank was confirmed on 26th January 2023 by Ministry of Defence, Government of India to her. She got Devi Award by Indian Express Group of Dynamism and Innovation. And another one to name is Business Excellence and Innovative Practices Academia Award 2021, New Delhi Institute of Management of Delhi. So these are few credentials to her credit, and I am again honored to invite her for her interaction. Madam, please.
Shri Yogen Narayan ji, Shri B.K. Chaturvedi ji, Shri S.K. Srivastava ji, Dr. S.K. Srivastava ji, that is members on the dais, and all of you sitting before me. I accord a very warm greeting and thank you for being here, and thank you for inviting me today to this program. I was so looking forward to meeting Allahabad University alumni, and I was wondering what I would have to speak, because the positions from which all of you would have retired are such senior positions of the bureaucracy of this country that you have contributed in various ways in policy making, in the governance, and for the larger benefit of the society. Of course, if we analyze what education is, and thank you that you have made a mark in the society, and that is, you have also that way brought prestige and glory to the mother who had taught you, that is the University of Allahabad. So it is education that takes us a long way. And education is the only tool that can bring about maximum change in the world, as per words of Nelson Mandela. So if we dissect education, what exactly education is? Education is nothing but continuous learning. We have to continue to learn because we know our journey as Homo sapiens began from the nomadic age to the agriculture age, from the agriculture age to the fire age, from the fire age to the industrial age, from the industrial age to the digital age, and now we are heading towards artificial intelligence. So we have to continuously learn, we have to continuously improve, we have to continuously change. If we do not change, then the change is going to devour us. How does education help us? It helps us take up new innovative ideas, to think critically about each idea, evaluate them, and then decide how to go ahead and implement them into various policies. We have to learn further, understand, be responsible for the society, and then also become responsible citizens as we step out into the outer world after being educated. Allahabad University is the fourth oldest university and has been the mother to so many thousands and thousands of students who have left the university year after year. So when I start thinking about where we are today in the world and how we place ourselves, I ask myself certain questions. One, whether we have been able to keep pace with the world. Yes or no? Whether or not we have been able to keep up to the promises of the founding fathers. whether or not we are matching with the rest of the world for all the three questions, probably the answer is no. We are not able to keep pace with the world. So long we were called a third world country, but now, of course, we are not a third world country. We are emerging, but still we have many problems. At the time when India became independent, the population of India was 3.43 billion. Today, can you imagine what the population has become? 1.68948387 kind of a number. And I don't know where it is going to go. So that is one of our biggest problems. These are our markers. Because in all other countries, the population of Singapore is only 57 lakhs. The population of UK has also not grown that much. It is about somewhere around 58 million. And likewise, the United States, in a span of 1 kilometer, there are 2 people living. That is the kind of space they have. So we actually cannot compare apples to oranges. We are a country with huge number of people and a very diverse population. But in 1915, when India was about to get its freedom, Rabindranath Tagore was thinking, and he wrote a poem. He wrote it in Bengali. And he said, he wrote the poem, that poem was a part of Gitanjali, and he wrote it, and that it was translated in English, when the mind is without fear. All of you might have heard the poetry. When the mind is without fear, where the head is held high, where the world is not broken into the narrow walls of, fragments of narrow walls, where the truth comes out from the words from the heart, where the dreary stream of reason has not lost its way into the dead sand of dead habits, where the tireless striving stretches its arm to perfection. Into that heaven let my country awake. So he was offered knighthood in 1915, Rabindranath Tagore, and Rabindranath Tagore had a huge connect with Allahabad. He used to travel to Allahabad very often. And he came to Allahabad because he also wrote prose, he wrote poetry. He came to Allahabad and to get his book published. Gitanjali was published in Allahabad. And he contacted the Indian press to get the book published. And that was Chintamani Babu, whom he contacted at that time. And Chintamani Babu was very quick in publishing his book. And later on, he asked Chintamani Babu's son, Patel Bhai, to find him a hall which could be used for a play that he wanted to play for collecting money to build Vishwa Bharati University. So that's how this nation has progressed. So Chintamani Babu's son, Patel, he went to Gandhi. Who Gandhi? Firoz Gandhi. He was the owner of palace. He went to Firoz Gandhi and he asked for the hall, the palace cinema hall. All of you would be knowing palace. So he went to that. The Gandhi immediately agreed that yes, you can take the hall. But the moment Gandhi came to know that Rabindranath Tagore is doing it for collecting funds, he refused. He declined. But Patel Bhai did not recluse from his responsibility. And you know what he did? He raised another hall overnight, which is, to all of us, which is known as Plaza. And there Rabindranath Tagore's play was shown, and he collected the money. And he did not tell Rabindranath Tagore that what he had done. Such was the respect that Rabindranath Tagore commanded. Actually, when Rabindranath Tagore wrote this poetry, he was very worried about India. That was in 1918, and freedom was going to dawn upon India. He was worried that this country will fall in the hands of crooked people, into the hands of wicked people, and maybe people are not educated, and how we will be able to run the country. But if you see the poetry in depth, what the poet had been thinking was exactly what happened to India. In 75 years, what have we given ourselves? Instead that we have populated India, we have not given ourselves much. So it is time for us to wake up and think what we can do for our own country. When communism of France was coming to an end, every citizen of France was informed and was educated enough to think, and the mindset changed as to what I can do for France. So our mindset has to change to think what we can do for our own country. There were traitors, there were looters, there were the Muhammad Ghaznavis, there were the Muhammad Gauris who came and looted India. They looted India. Somnath temple in Gujarat was looted 17 times. Perhaps all of you know. The silver in your hair is telling me that you are more experienced than I am. But Somnath temple was looted many times. All the temples of India were looted many times. The GDP that India had of 23% came down to 3% when the British left India. British ruled India for 300 years. And in those 300 years, there was a man called Macaulay. Perhaps many of you would be knowing about him. And Macaulay went around the country and he said that it is such a country where I have not seen any theft, where I have seen that people sleep with open doors. Until 70s also we were sleeping in our homes with open doors, but today we can't think of sleeping with open doors. And if we have to rule this country, then we have to erode the moral fabric of this country. So we have to break the education system of this country. That's where I'm coming to. What Macaulay did was stopped the publication of Sanskrit and Arabic books and introduce English. And the new Education Act came about in 1935, which said that English will be the language of education. From there began another India. These missionary schools opened up in India. They taught us, and with pride, I also say that I am a student of St. Mary's Convent. But maturing after so many years, 40 years as an academician, I realized that somewhere something has gone wrong. We have started thinking in a foreign language. Where has our language gone? When we meet a new human being and we meet him for the first time, we try to always test him whether will he be able to speak English or not. If he is not able to speak English, then we think that he is not educated. What a poor mindset we have. Don't we need to change it? We say good mornings. Why don't we say namaste? Why don't we take pride in speaking Hindi? It is time that we rose for our own language, our own regional language, of our own cultural language, our own culture. Rabindranath Tagore was very rooted. He was a Bengali. He wrote Gitanjali in Bengali. Then if it was liked, it was translated into English and various other languages it was translated, but he always wore that dhoti kurta. He never left that dhoti kurta. And even today, as Abhijit Banerjee went to take his Nobel Prize, he went in his dhoti kurta. So we have to become rooted in our food habits, we have to become rooted in our language, we have to go back to our Sanskrit, we have to be rooted in our dresses. All other countries are rooted. I have, and I am sure all of you would have visited several countries. I have had the chance to visit at least 20 countries. And I see that each country speaks in its own language. They don't speak in a foreign language. Frenchmen do not speak English. Englishmen do not speak French. But we speak English. So what happened to us that Macaulay left many black, white masked Indians who are the elitists of today, which includes me also. I am also speaking English. So that's a default language. I chose to speak because I wasn't sure who would be from which regional area where I would be addressing people. So I chose to speak English. But India has many beautiful regional languages, and Sanskrit is our very own language. I'm mostly enamored with our Veds, the Rig Veda and the Yajur Veda. So the ethos of the Rig Veda and the Yajur Veda are that they say mansa karmana and mansa vacha karmana. So it says जो हमारे मन में है वो हमारी वाणी में है, जो हमारे मन और वाणी में है वही हमारे कर्म में है, तभी तो हम एक कंप्लीट इंडिविजुअल बनते हैं. So what Britishers did that they taught us their mannerisms, they taught us to memorize, and they taught us to, we forgot our skills. Our Gurukul system, which was based on skill education, skill-based education, got lost. There are 64 kalas which Kadambari recognizes. And what are the kalas? वो कलाएं हैं नृत्य, गीत, संगीत, वाद, धनुर्विद्या, पाक विद्या, सिलाई, कारपेंट्री, पेंटिंग, ड्राइंग, ये सब हमारी कलाएं हैं. और इनको हमने कभी भी इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं दी. हमने सिर्फ किताबों से रटा और कॉपी में जाके निकाला. जिसने ज़्यादा रटा, जिसने ज़्यादा निकाला, उसने टॉप किया. बट now, today, the new education policy says that is only 5% of learning that happens through memorizing. The 95% of learning happens through ubiquitous learning, learning a skill or two and learning from all around us. Because we have to have the knowledge of living a life. Somehow, the education was planned by Macaulay to roll out colonial clerks. I'm sorry to say, and we have been rolling out. So the degree of BA that has been given by the British to us, BA and MA, was actually a degree for rolling out clerks. Maybe 1% or 2% students who were brilliant at memorizing cracked the IAS exam or the PCS exam, but the rest of the students were left unemployed. So today the new education policy is talking about those who are left unemployed. And we don't say that those who are left unemployed are not intelligent people, because intelligence is of 8 different kinds. There is spatial intelligence, there is memory intelligence, there is mathematical intelligence, there is musical intelligence, and there is sport intelligence, and the likes. Two of them I'm missing out right now. So there are various areas of the brain which are lit up for different people. So people are differently skilled. So if we made Lata Mangeshkar try to crack IAS, she wouldn't have been able to crack that. She would just be singing. And an IAS cannot sing that way. So, so it is very different. So the new education policy has now decided that the skills will be incorporated in the new courses that are planned for the university. So we have been working very hard to plan new courses in the university where even the BA student will have choices. It is a choice-based, credit-based systems, and they will have choices among a plethora of elective courses, apart from the core, where they will have at least 4 courses of their choice. कि अगर बच्चे को स्पोर्ट्स में इंटरेस्ट है तो वो स्पोर्ट्स के क्रेडिट्स इकट्ठे कर ले, अगर म्यूज़िक में इंटरेस्ट है तो म्यूज़िक कर ले, लैंग्वेज उसको करनी ही करनी है, प्लस जो 3 सब्जेक्ट्स वो पढ़ता है वो पढ़ेगा ही पढ़ेगा. सो इन दैट वे his personality will be more grounded. And also there was more focus on NCC because there is a lack of feeling of nationalism in our mind. So we have incorporated NCC as the core course, as the foundation course in our first year of the new education policy. There are these 6 integrated courses which we are launching this year. I will just tell you the names of those courses. There is one course in disaster management and environment sciences. There is another course in data and data sciences and MCA, that is a 5-year integrated course. There is another course which is in family and community sciences, which has a master's in textile and apparel design and culinary skills. Then there is another course which is cognitive sciences course, masters in cognitive sciences, which is a study about the neurological problems of the brain, because brain is the area which is most neglected, never studied. So that also we have taken as an integrated course. And we will also be shortly starting a course in artificial intelligence, which is a 5-year integrated course. But because that course will be, the students will be selected to through this JEE, so it will happen in the next year of February. So likewise, there is a 5-year law course, there is a 5-year Master in Business Administration course, and this way we have about 7-8 new courses which are being launched by Allahabad University. So if you could play the... So to run these courses, we had to have a lot of infrastructure also. So I just brought a pen drive to show you what infrastructural development have taken place in your university and how it looks now. I thought it might be of some interest to you, so I would keep speaking. So this is a new building which has sprung up in the 2nd Senate faculty campus, which is in the name of Ishwar Tope. He was a student. He gave 10 crores, he willed 10 crores for his university, out of which we have been able to make language labs. These are 2 language labs which will cater to 6 languages: Russian, French, German, English, Hindi, and Sanskrit. So this is just a newly developed facility. Can we raise the volume a little bit? Music थोड़ा और चलेगा तो सुनाई देगा. This is a new auditorium that has come up in the same building, Ishwar Tope, on the first floor. And on the top floor, we have this incubation center, where we have about 2,000 new innovative ideas registered with us. But we are not able to give any money to the new entrepreneurs. These are also houses for the teachers that have sprung up. Recently, this project was hung up for the past 8-10 years, so I could sail it through with the government. It is hard to sail the projects through the government. This is the Hindu hostel which has been taken over by Allahabad University for a rupee. It is a property worth 500 crores. This hostel was built by Mahamana in his times. So the society handed it over to the university. This is an open air theatre which is newly being built for showcasing the skills of the artisans, the dancers, and also there is this shopping area where various artisans can come and display their products, and we can have a sale for few days. Some of you would remember your department. This is the chemistry department. And this is an early childhood care center which has been made in an old dilapidated building. So I just renewed that building and made it a place for children, because more and more women are joining the workforce to keep the children on the campus and the mothers to come and see them when they want to. This is the lawn tennis that is also inside the science faculty campus. Lawn tennis and basketball. This is the international hockey turf. So we can now hold international matches. This is in front of JK and in front of Vizianagaram Hall that this hockey turf has been made. And at night, daylight matches can happen there. This is how the Vizianagaram is lit up every evening nowadays. So I call it the Taj Mahal of Allahabad. If you would be interested, I would tell you why Allahabad University is not able to cope up with the QS ranking and the NIRF ranking. I wonder if you all would be interested. You are interested? Please, okay. Please. So we can begin with
Admission comparative?
comparative assessment. So we just compared the various universities of India. If you see the number of students, the intake of Allahabad University is the biggest. The brown color patch is Allahabad University. That is 38.5% students. From all over India, we take these many students. DU takes only 449, that is 2.3%, and BHU comes close with 25.7%. So if we add BHU and AU, we do 2/3 of students together. That's a huge number of seats in the university and a huge number of students. There is a huge footfall in AU for admissions. And even in the postgraduate, Allahabad University has 4,492, that is 13%. Unlike, and BHU also has the same number. And other universities have a very thin slice. See, IISc has only 1%, 1.5%, Indian Institute of Sciences. And we are all measured by the same yardstick. So what I say is you cannot measure apples to oranges. Oranges will be oranges and apples will be apples. So when they just take the cream and they have just 1% of the students, they can stand up in the QS ranking. Allahabad University cannot. We cannot say no to the number of students that we have. Next slide, please, sir. So that is the overall first year intake is highest. That is tremendous pressure to upkeep the infrastructure. Because our fee is very low, majority of our students come from economically less privileged families. Our fee used to be rupees 12 until 2 years ago, tuition fee. Now it is 60 rupees, that makes it 600 rupees per annum tuition fee, which does not compare to any private institution. Next slide, sir. Then total enrolled students in this is the 25,848 students at AU and similar at DU and BHU. But if you compare the faculty strength, next slide, sir. See the comparative faculty strength, कि कितने teachers हैं उतने students के ऊपर. After I have made 300 appointments in the university, now the faculty strength has gone up to 460. But this Delhi University has 1200, BHU has 1800, JNU has 598. So faculty is higher in all other institutions, but somehow AU was left behind. It did not get adequate faculty positions. So the ratio between the student, that is the highest number of students and the lowest number of faculty. That is the reason where we are not able to make in the QS ranking or in the NIRF ranking. One, that UP in itself is densely populated. And we cannot say no to any students. But we don't know where the solution lies. I would want your advisory on this. Yes, yes. So initially when I had joined the university, there were only 125 teachers left in the university. I did appointments in mission mode. I could appoint about 300 new teachers. So now the number is this, but even then it is minimalistic as compared to others. So these are other parameters that of course you would not be interested, but I wanted to just make that point across, that the number of faculty and the number of students in each institution, we calculate a ratio. So the ratio is very, very scuttled because the total number of seats of students is very high in Allahabad University. We roll out about 65,000 students every year, which includes undergrad and postgrad, both. We go to the coffee table book now. Shri Yogen ji had asked me that are you showing us the coffee table book? So I have asked the President of India to come to Allahabad University for taking the first copy of the coffee table book. The book is ready. This is the book. This is the cover. This is the cover of the book. And there are some pictures that I thought I have put on the PPT that I could show. So, किधर से slash कर?
This is for.
So Allahabad University, when it began, it was the university for Agra, Lucknow, and all the regions around Uttar Pradesh. Then by and by Agra University bifurcated and Awadh bifurcated. Lucknow University also bifurcated from Allahabad University. This is the administrative block where my office is there on the first floor. This is my office from inside. Huh? This is the Ishwar Tope building. This is the aerial view of the building of Allahabad University. All of you would be feeling nostalgic about seeing the building, perhaps. This is the English department. Any of you from the English department? Yes. This is your English department. We celebrated Deepotsav at the Vizianagaram Hall last year when so many new women faculty joined. These are all the new faculty members who have joined. This is the library, central library. This is the Astro Hockey Turf, and in front is the JK Institute, which was inaugurated by none other but Jawaharlal Nehru. This is the Hindu hostel. And this is SSL, yes. So I joined this university 2.5 years ago with a lot of skepticism, being the first woman vice chancellor of this university. And I was not sure. So I had joined with a lot of skepticism whether I will be able to do something for this university or not. It was in very bad shape, I knew. And all of you belonging to Allahabad know that in front of the Senate campus is the Swaraj Bhavan, from where the national politics began. Gandhiji began his Swaraj movement. And then on the side, there is this bust of Chandrasekhar Azad, who shot himself. And the sound of the shot came right up to the botany department. So the university is surrounded with freedom fighters. And so the blood of people in Allahabad is very hot. There is often there is often a student ruckus. There is often a Murdabad. When I raised the fee from 12 rupees to 60 rupees, they performed my funeral for a whole month. Every day there was a funeral. And yet I said no, this fee has to be enhanced, and finally it did get enhanced. Because now the government is saying that you have to raise some of your own revenue. And how do we raise revenue? But the thing that I showed you was that if there is a mother who raises only one child or 2 children, and then there is a mother who raises 20 children, from the 20 children, she is able to give the best to the 6 children, then the rest of the 6 are average, and maybe the others are little below average. But if I ask you, which mother would you rate greater? What would be your answer? The mother with 20 children. So I have made my point, I think. Allahabad University is the mother of 20 children. It raises with aplomb. It teaches the poor children. Even if the rankings, see, these are international rankings which are there to sabotage the national universities and constantly tell us that our systems are bad, so that our children go abroad. And there is a brain drain. But there is nothing like it, because what I saw in the interviews, I interviewed about 2,575 candidates in 27 departments, and I have appointed 300 faculty members. And I have to tell you that there is a reverse migration from our own Indian children who were doing postdoc studies in various countries like Singapore, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Harvard, China, Wuhan, Serbia, Arabia, and Egypt, France, Germany, they have all come back to India, to Allahabad University, and they have joined. Even I was not sure. I used to ask them, will you come? You are sitting in Harvard, you are sitting in Tokyo. But they said, no, I will come, ma'am. We have served other countries enough. We want to serve our motherland. So we have teachers who have come with foreign experience to Allahabad University, and we have teachers who have come from various states of India. 25 different states of India. So Allahabad University, if you go now, you will find it has a very, very cosmopolitan structure. So somewhere you will hear Bengali, otherwhere you will hear Punjabi, the third place you will hear Kerala, and then you will hear Odia. So it has become very, very different. Sanskrit department was the first department I picked up because the head of the Sanskrit department came and told me that, madam, in 2 months I am retiring and then you can probably lock the departments. And then I said, in my regime, this will not happen. I will pick up Sanskrit department first. So I picked it up and I have appointed 22 people in the Sanskrit department. And only in Pali, I could not find anybody. Pali is a language before Sanskrit. And all our Mahabharata and Ramayana is written in Pali. I wanted one person in Pali, but I could not find. So, of course, I found the expert for Pali, but did not find a candidate who could come and join in Pali. So, that post is sitting vacant. So, there are many challenges before me to run this very politicized universities. Despite the dharnas, there is a very big high court also in Allahabad, close by. So every morning when I was holding the selection committees, I would get the news that madam case file हो गया है और अभी शाम तक पता नहीं क्या होगा, स्टे हो जाएगा. ठीक है, हो जाएगा तो हो जाएगा, अभी हम लोग अपना काम करते हैं. शाम तक ये होता था कि we would get an order that falana candidate also you have to take the interview. I said, okay, call him, we'll take the interview. And put his name in a separate envelope and not select him. If you go to court before coming to the university, then what will happen later? So I did not select anybody, but I just did very, very fair appointments as much as I could. And I think the university has been recreated with 634 together with teaching and non-teaching faculty. So there is hope. I call this university a sleeping elephant. It was sleeping, but I have woken it up from its slumber. And the coffee table book is here. They can smell the coffee now. And I think now the elephant, if I give it a little more push, it will run to where it was earlier. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for these enlightening insight into the university. We see a lot of scope and a lot of potential. Of course, there are lots and lots of challenges, but as we saw in the interaction of ma'am and the presentation made, all those challenges have been met fearlessly in spite of all the opposition and all the resistances. We saw a gloomy situation where we had at the beginning of her tenure a faculty which was close to 150, and then she did massive recruitments of teachers and non-teaching staff, and we have a situation where we have 462 faculty members. So it is not a case of glass being half empty, it is a case of glass being 3/4 full, and we wish and we expect that this continuously goes on, and Allahabad University regains its old glory and turns out to be an institution which would churn out the best human resources, the most potent, the most efficient human resources, not only for the country, but maybe for the world. I would now request, yes, please, ma'am.
We are going to have an alumni meet in the first week of December. So please keep looking at our website. That is Allahabad University. If you Google Allahabad University allduniv.ac.in. So you will find information and a brochure, and I would want that all of you should come. There will be only a small membership, but I'm sure when you come, your old memories will be rekindled. So you're welcome to come. And,
The best part of, yes,
and,
ma'am.
It would be remarkable if you see a person who tells you the time, that it is, he sees the sun and the stars and he tells you the time, that this is 2 a.m., 11 minutes, so many seconds. But there was somebody who built a clock so that everybody could see the time. So when we build an institution, we are building a clock so that everybody is a part of it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, would request Dr. R. K. Shrivastava to please introduce another very eminent guest, Mr. B. K. Chaturvedi, former Cabinet Secretary, Government of Delhi, and invites Government of India, extremely sorry for the slip of tongue, Government of India, yes indeed, and invite him for a session enlightening all of us. Thank you, sir.
I am proud to introduce Shri B.K. Chaturvedi, who is our alumnus also. He is a former IAS officer. He is of 1966 batch IAS officer. He started his career as a lecturer in Engineering College, Allahabad. Later on, he was selected for the Indian Administrative Services in 1966 and worked in various capacities in Uttar Pradesh government for more than a decade and a half. In 1984, he moved to Delhi with Government of India. He had a very long and distinguished career and finally rose to become Cabinet Secretary and Head of Civil Services of India. After finishing his term as Cabinet Secretary in 2007, he was appointed as member of Planning Commission, Government of India, in the rank of Minister of State, Government of India, in which capacity he continued for almost 7 years. In recognition of his outstanding work in the field of civil services, the President of India selected him and conferred on him Padma Bhushan in 2010. We should all be proud of that. One of the 3 highest civilian awards of this country, this Padma Bhushan is, and this is a rare honor. Earlier in 1976, he was given a state award by Government of UP for his outstanding work as District Magistrate of Azamgarh. In recognition of his work in the field of public administration, Indian School of Mines, Dhanbad confirmed him DSc degree, honoris causa, in 2012. He has authored 2 books and published several papers in national and international journals in the field of planning, energy, and governance. So I request Shri V.K. Chaturvedi sir to address the gathering.
Dr. Yogendra Narayan, Madam Vice Chancellor, my colleague Dr. Srivastav, distinguished alumni, and friends. It's indeed a matter of great happiness for all of us that the Alumni Association of the University is meeting today and has amongst us the Vice Chancellor of the University. It is indeed a very unique occasion. Many of us were part of the university more than 5 decades back, but we carry some excellent memories of those times. The presentation by the Vice Chancellor today has revealed thoughts about many in the past and how the university has developed in the recent years. And I must confess, it was exceedingly impressive. She needs a special word of applause from all of us. The university had a great past in the beginning of the 20th century. And as was mentioned earlier, this was the center of learning. Many of you will recall that it was popularly referred to as the Oxford of the East, and many were friends from students from Orissa, Assam, Bihar, and most of the brightest students from UP chose to try for admission here. It had great teachers. I recall Professor H.E. Banerjee, Dr. Meghna Saha, Dr. N.R. Dhar, Professor Ranade, Professor Raghupat Sahib Firak, Dr. Harbans Rai Bachchan, and many, many others. Dr. Yogendran mentioned Professor J.K. Mehta, and he mentioned many other political distinguished figures, and all of us have really contributed to not only the academic world, but to the nation's political firmament. All these names attracted students from all over. Unfortunately, we have not been recently been rated as high in the academic community. And today, the Vice Chancellor has explained the reasons why it is not so and the steps she is taking for that. And I think it was, I was at least personally very happy to hear that, because at one point of time, I was almost giving up that the university would either have students' agitation or closure of the university. Important reason for the past expansion, for the poor expansion and decline is, one of the reasons in the past is lack of financial resources. It used to be a state university, and the states used to have limited resources. And whatever resources they had in the field of education, they would focus on opening primary schools or giving it for expansion of primary school education. I recall my personal efforts to get some funds to the university. I had gone along with Mr. G.K. Arora, who used to be the Secretary of Education, and I was working in the Ministry of Finance. But much later then, again in about 2004-05, when I was the Cabinet Secretary, it was decided to convert it to a central university. And I recall my conversation with Mr. Arjun Singh, who wanted it to be expedited and put it in the cabinet. The proposal got huge support from all former Allahabad students who were in very senior positions in the government. This must have improved the financial situations partly, but there are still huge gaps. Almost more than 10 years back, I had an occasion to visit Dr. Ganganath Jha Hostel, of which I had been a resident. I do not know, I didn't really see in the coffee table book, but maybe that also has improved. But Professor T. Pati and myself, we had gone there, and I was very sad to see at that point of time the condition of the hostel. I do not know whether it has improved, but with the improvements taking place in many other areas, I am sure the Vice Chancellor would also pay the attention to my old hostel too, and that also would get a better deal. This used to be a very popular hostel and known, of course, after the former Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ganganath Jha. Educational institutions acquire their reputation, as has been mentioned, by the eminence of their teachers and how well its students perform in various examinations held across the country. But the university also needs to have regular teaching sessions. While working on these basic requirements, it can invite, I suggest, some eminent professors from abroad to run a 3-month course or give a series of lectures apart from whatever is there, which is the faculty here. This, when put across in the social media, will attract a good number of students to these faculties. And this will also improve the outline of the university as a university which has an international credentials. My basic point is that the atmosphere of academic excellence needs to be strengthened as much as we can. Once research and teaching get a stronger push, the university will acquire a new reputation. It has to be realized that economy has expanded rapidly in the last half a century. Educational needs too have changed, and as a result of it, the NEP has come, and it has been explained how many new courses are being taken up by the university. Many of the subjects now from liberal arts may have limited students in future, as civil services can only provide very limited jobs. In fact, most of the jobs are now being provided in many other areas. Therefore, universities are looking for new opportunities. I'm sure the university is working on many others apart from the ones which she has mentioned. I was very happy to hear about the 6 courses which are being planned, and particularly about this AI course, which is a difficult one. I'm happy that it's being done through the students who are going through the JEE, and those will be this thing, but I'm sure that it'll need a faculty, and the faculty will also be in place. Let me end by thanking Dr. Yugandhar Narayan for inviting me. I'm especially thankful to the Vice Chancellor for telling us all the recent developments, and it gives me hope that when we go there in the coming years, we will be seeing a more transformed university, and it will gradually come up to the name which it had at one point of time, if not the Oxford of the East, at least you can say the present Delhi University of the East, matching that, or many of the top universities. We have the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, as the topmost university these days. We hope that they have a very good student-faculty ratio. Our university doesn't have that sort of ratio, but I'm sure that the recruitment is going on, and in case we can get some extra funds from other sources, the university will be able to come up. Once again, I thank you very much for inviting me, and I hope, collectively, I hope along with you, that the coming years will show us a much improved university, of which we were very proud, and now we'll be more proud. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for such encouraging words and a brilliant session. And I'm sure with the blessings of eminent personalities like you and consistent effort of the Honorable Vice Chancellor, the reputation, the glory of the university is bound to grow by leaps and bounds. And of course, we will live up to the reputation of the past, which was the Oxford of East, besides emerging as one of the premier institutions, as a premier university of the country. And thank you, ma'am, for being with us today. It was indeed a great experience. And now I would request our President and the Secretary, Mr. Yugandhar Narayan, sir, and Dr. R.K. Shrivastava to.
I will request our chief guest and guest of honor that they should interact with the August gathering as many people want to raise many questions and they expect that you should clarify and elaborate the things. So, please, if anybody has any question.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It was very interesting listening to you. Just wanted to have some idea about the gender balance in your faculty.
We can do nothing about the gender balance. There are as many women as they have applied. And out of the 300 that I have selected, 25% are women. And 25% means a lot of women.
We'll improve further. Thank you.
Madam, I wanted to know, any new hostel is coming in your plan of infrastructure?
Yes. 4 more hostels have already come up. One is for international students, one is for the girls' hostel, and there are 2 new boys' hostel, which we have named as Shyamji Verma Hostel for the boys and Gargi Hostel for the girls. So the place where there was this women's college, that building was very dilapidated. So that has been done away with, and a new hostel has sprung up in the name of Gargi Hostel. I gave it the name Gargi because Gargi was the one who wrote hymns for the Rig Ved.
Yeah.
And Shyamji Verma, his ashes stayed in London for, I think, until 2001, when Modi went to London and brought his ashes back, because it was in his will that he wanted to only return to a free India. So his ashes were brought back to India by Modi ji, and I have named the hostel as Shyamji Krishna Verma Hostel.
I will also request to take up Ganganath Hostel to make it worth living. B.K. Chaturvedi sir has already requested you. GN
Sir,
Hostel.
all of you are living in the 1960s and 1970s perhaps. But today, if I tell you the real stories of the hostels, 2 hostels were raided and seized and sealed by the government, the Muslim boarding and the Holland Hall. Holland Hall had become famous for making bombs, and Muslim boarding, that famous gangster who died, the murder was planned in MB house of the science faculty. So I had to take very serious steps, and the government did support me after what they saw, that this planning was hatched in the campus, and then the hostel was sealed. It was evacuated and sealed, MB house and Holland Hall. But the other hostels also are not in a very good shape, because there are 21 hostels. And the government does not give that much money. We are not able to maintain the old broken property of this university. So as much as I could, I just tried that, because I have taken up the Hindu hostel, so I had made a plan, and I've got 7 crores from the government to renovate the Hindu hostel. That will be given to the students of Sciences and JK Institute. But other hostels are on the anvil, but of course I would look for some support from the alumni. If they can do something for their hostel, it will be nice. I don't want any money from you. You can just get your own room renovated. You can get some water coolers for the students. Anything that you think that you can. We have the benefit of ATG. I just got it done. I also got the income tax assessment of the university done, and you will not believe me, but university has no corpus. I don't know for what reason it does not have a corpus. So when I joined 2.5 years ago, an old friend of mine, he sent me photographs from Bangkok of showing how much litter was there around the science faculty campus. I was so ashamed. I got everything cleaned and all the debris collected and all the junk I sold out. I mean, the estate manager sold out for 72 lakhs. And then I used that 72 lakhs to make it a clean and a green campus. We bought lawn mowers, we bought tractors to cut the grass, And we also have sown some plants, and that is how I have been able to beautify the campus and beautify the things around the building. Then as soon as I finished beautifying it, the film producers started calling us, and we got 2-3 movies also have been shot in Allahabad University, one by Tikmanshu Dhulia, one by this Dr. G is a movie that has been shot in Allahabad University. So we also collected some revenue from there. But university did not have its own revenue because the fee was very, very low. And so I thought it was very important to raise the fee. But I faced something close to death while I raised that fee in Allahabad University, but I did it. So it has been a very tough journey, but one must always ask for the strength to endure a tough life. I have endured a very tough life in the past 2.5 years building up this university. And there have been invaders who have come and they have invaded, looted. Now it is our turn to build, to make what has been looted, what has been destroyed. So I have done my bit. Now I'm asking you.
Madam, I just wanted to know one thing. Since I was associated with the Muir Hostel, has it become a purely hostel for research students only now?
Yes, when the previous Vice Chancellor was there, Professor Hanglu, he distributed the hostels in the form that they will be allocated to research and to PG, to various places. So it has become like that. But I have made a committee to restore what it used to be earlier. So I think we will be. So we will restore it that way. But we are very nostalgic memories of Amarnath Hostel, and we are all here. I know. How many of you are Murians? So many. So Murians is a cult. Yeah, it's a cult. Huh?
We were getting hurt here when Sir was telling about Genda and Genda was not.
I know.
Old competition, sir.
And one small query, ma'am. I was wondering that, enhancing the fee from 12 rupees a month to 60 rupees would still be amongst the lowest in the country, I suppose.
Yes.
It would still be the lowest. So, how
It is just cheap education given by very, very qualified faculty. But in the name of rankings, there is a sabotage. There is an international sabotage, which I feel, because they want to show the Indian universities down so that the best students who have the money go abroad. And there have been people from the British Embassy to create disturbance in the university, and there have been people from the French Embassy to come and ask for students, because their economy is based on the fee the Indian student will bring to their country. And we are doing that. But we don't value what is of less cost. We think what is of less cost is bad. Rather than, there have been candidates from Ramjas College, from Gargi College, from Amity University, whom I have rejected at Allahabad University. I have appointed people from 15 countries. So the faculty that is being recruited is very good. The salaries they get is very good. The fee is low because no Vice Chancellor had the guts to enhance the fee. But see, a man should do what a man should do. A woman has to do what a man can't do.
Thank you, ma'am. Really, you are an iron ready lady for the university, we can say, because after your taking over, things have started improving. But hostels, G and Jha, I was staying for quite some time there. So there is a motto: when you go out and serve your country and countrymen. That inspired me all the time. So hostels, So I'm from Ewing Christian College. I did my BSc from there, 78 80 batch. And hostel was the hallmark of Allahabad University. So yes, bum and ये तो तब भी होता था हमारे टाइम में, और उसको आप जिस तरह से आपने यूनिवर्सिटी को ब्यूटीफाई किया है, हॉस्टल्स भी करिए, ये हमारी रिक्वेस्ट है। थैंक यू।
आप लोग आइए, हम एलुमनाई का फंक्शन कर रहे हैं, आप लोग आइए, अपने हॉस्टल में आज के रहने वाले इनमेट्स को अपने एक्सपीरियंसेस बताइए और उनको सिखाइए, उनको मेंटोर करिए कि वो अपना हॉस्टल को मेंटेन करें। पैसा हम देंगे, मेंटेन वो करें, और पैसा आप लोग भी दीजिए, तब होगा।
Just 1 minute. My name is Anand Joshi. I am known only to HMP Singh Saab. I never knew about this group. So recently joined that group. I came from Lucknow all the way to meet Dr. Sangeeta, Vice Chancellor. हमारा उनसे परिचय यह है कि इनके जो ब्रदर थे, he happens to be my friend. तो मैं इनके घर जाया करता, तो I have been very closely watching the rise of Dr. Sangeeta.
क्या बात है।
तो मैं अभी करेंटली आई एम फ्रॉम इलाहाबाद बट स्टेइंग इन लखनऊ फॉर लास्ट 20 years, लेकिन चूंकि अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली दिल्ली आने की, दिल्ली में मेरी डॉटर भी है, तो आई थॉट डॉक्टर संगीता श्रीवास्तव से पर्सनली मिल करके मतलब आई एम सो डिलाइटेड टू सी यू हियर। थैंक यू सो मच। थैंक यू
सो मच।
Good evening.
Maybe last 3 questions, sir. Sir, President, sir.
हाँ, बताइए।
We continue? We have time. Okay.
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for giving us this positive note of Allahabad University, because almost we all have lost hope. I had occasion after leaving the university. In a way, we are batchmate. You joined as a faculty 89, I joined as a first year.
Student.
Yes, student, first year. And I happened to be the university reporter for Northern India Patrika. Lucinda S. Dhawan, you will remember the...
Dhawan was there.
Yeah. So I was the cub reporter under her. So my question is, I remember when you were talking about hostel, I wrote one article in Northern India Patrika, the gangsters then Ganganath Jha hostel. And I was attacked. And so was Madam Lucinda Dhawan was attacked. But there was a good tradition of every year annual function, which was a connect, like in Jha we had Udisha every year. So if that function could be started, any plan for that, that will become a connect between the what you are looking for. We coming and mentoring and giving them their rich experience. So that is one suggestion. I have few more for the fundraising, for which I will come back to you on a personal level, write to you, secure time, send you mail. So I'm not taking a lot of time here. So that's one question. Is any plan to revive these age-old tradition of hostel functions under the patronage of Vice Chancellor, the university? 2, is there any plan inviting such luminaries for the lectures?
Yes.
To the university.
I showed you that auditorium.
Yes.
So we will have a lecture series now.
Yes.
And from July onwards, every month I will have at least one person to come and talk about these new ideas. There is this de-dollarization, there is BRICS, and there are so many, so on and so forth.
And that would be a fund generating also. That could be. I will tell you how. Last but not the least important, what plans? Because see, despite all big roots, I will like to slightly differ with you calling an elephant. I will call that phase as the growing of the bamboo tree under the ground. It takes 12 years for bamboo to come out of the ground, but once it comes, the height it can reach is.
Yes, this I hope and pray that it reaches its pinnacle.
Yes, so last and the least, any plan for international tie-up of the love? Because the kind of history we have.
Yes. Lots of researches are going on. We have about 20 patents we have already filed. And there is our Center of Behavioral and Cognitive Sciences, where we have recently signed an MOU with Pittsburgh University, United States, to work on the brain imaging. That is diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia before their onset. If the brain can be assessed and the person can be told that 5 years down the line you might suffer this disease, it will help. So we are, there is cutting edge research and we have very good equipment. Machinery is very good in the Center of Behavioral and Cognitive Sciences. We have 11 centers and a lot of research is happening. And the focus is on patenting and innovation also. So we tried to get money from the Atal Innovation Scheme, but we could not get it. But now we have about 2,000 innovations already registered with us. But I think next time when there is time for presentation, we'll be able to get some money there. I have been trying, I have been multitasking, I've been trying on all sides what to do where, as you could see in the presentation, and also the appointments. I think never before in the history of Allahabad University so many people were appointed together. So if this could be done, there is hope for the university.
We all 100 of people here at the Alumini are with you. Take us for granted. We all are here with you. They're with you.
Thank you.
Now you have policy also. You can appoint them as the part-time lecturer and
yes,
faculty.
I will.
The last two questions, please. The last two questions.
I'll be very quick. Actually, there are a lot of things to discuss with ma'am. First, I will thank you for a very beautiful presentation and trying to revive the past glory of Allahabad. और एक पहले चूँकि मैं सुन रही थी तो मैं कमेंट कर दूँ. अभी किसी ने कहा कि वी हैव ऑलरेडी लॉस्ट होप. अगर आप होप, आप ये सेंटेंस कहते हैं ना कि आई हैव लॉस्ट होप, देन यू आर नॉट ट्रू इलाहाबादी एंड यू आर नॉट ट्रू स्टूडेंट ऑफ Allahabad University. Allahabad University tells you, quote from me, taught about. ओके, एज मेनी ब्रांचेस एज मेनी ट्रीज. आप कभी अगर आप पेड़ सूख ही गया जो अलग ब्रांच बन के, तो फिर वे पेड़ ही कहाँ हुआ, ठीक है ना. दूसरी चीज़ जो मैडम ने कही, मैं कुछ क्विक कमेंट करूँगी. लेटर वी कैन हैव लॉट ऑफ डिस्कशन अबाउट कंपैरिजन ऑफ Allahabad University with the ISC. ISC is a different institute. I had spent 3 years after doing the PhD from chemistry department. I spent 3 years, and some of my teachers are sitting here, so I don't want to make further comment. And molecular biophysics unit, where I was supposed to do the biophysics, but my boss was interested in genome mapping. So in the lab, there was almost nothing at hall only. I started doing the genome mapping and started doing the RT-PCR when we didn't have the RT-PCR machine. 3 हमारे पास प्लांट वो होते थे, उसमें हम डिफरेंट टेम्परेचर सेट करके काम करते थे. ये सारी ट्रेनिंग मुझे हमारे गुरुजी लोगों ने दी है, जो कुछ सामने यहाँ बैठे हुए, इसलिए मैं ज़्यादा नहीं कहना चाहती. और थर्ड कमेंट अबाउट द रैंकिंग. Ranking comes, everybody knows, mainly through the research publication ideas and projects. So it doesn't matter whether you teach 20 students or whether you teach. No, I'm just, see, anyway, we can have a lot of discussion.
There is no reason for any discussion.
Because
first thing that is the student-teacher ratio.
Yeah,
So when there are 65,000 students and 430 teachers, so the ratio comes to 55.7, where it should be 1.3 to 4, 2.3, that's all. That is the place we lose 30 marks. And that is the point that I was putting across. If we have so many students and not those many teachers, we will never be able to
I'm not going for the main points of the NAC accreditation, because I was also in the NAC accreditation committee in the criteria number 2. What I'm trying to say that the research and ideas, हमारे जब गुरुजी लोग थे तब भी बहुत सारे गरीब स्टूडेंट थे, हम 20 रुपीज़ फीस देते थे, लेकिन इलाहाबाद यूनिवर्सिटी के डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ केमिस्ट्री ने ऐसे ऐसे माइलस्टोन स्थापित किए इस देश में, जिसका आज भी जवाब नहीं. मैडम मिश्रा हैं, उन्होंने DNA केमिस्ट्री स्टार्ट की वहाँ पर, जो इंडिया में शी वॉज द फर्स्ट लेडी टू स्टार्ट टू डूइंग दैट. सो दिस इज़ द आइडिया विच कम्स इन योर माइंड. मेरे पास 600 स्टूडेंट हैं, BSc के, UG के, PG के अलग नंबर है. आई कम्यूट 80-90 kilometers every day. It is the idea which takes you to the heights. Rest discussion later on. Thank you, ma'am. You are doing very good job. I'm not contradicting.
Very good.
But
very good.
Thank you.
Just want to
Please.
share with you that when Madam Mishra was getting
Sir,
research done,
huh.
I was also doing research in the chemistry
You come
department
forward.
with Professor P.C. Gupta. So I know the labs,
He is
I know
waiting
the
for quite a
people.
long time.
I have grown in the conscience of Allahabad University. I know the problems and I know the people.
The senior most alumni present here in this hall.
अब फीस आगे मत बढ़ाइएगा, गरीब बच्चे नहीं पढ़।
नहीं सर, ऐसी बात नहीं है, ऐसी बात नहीं है, इतनी कोई गरीबी नहीं है। हर गरीब बच्चे के पास एक मोबाइल फ़ोन रहता है। हाँ, हर गरीब बच्चे के पास एक मोबाइल फ़ोन रहता है, वो कम से कम 12-15 हज़ार रुपए का होता है। पीवीआर में वो पिक्चर देखने जाता है, 120 रुपए की कॉफ़ी वो पीता है,
स्टिल मैडम
पॉपकॉर्न भी वो खाता है। जी, शिक्षा को पैसे नहीं देना चाहता। आप ऐसा मत कहिए, मैं फ़ीस नहीं बढ़ाऊंगी, लेकिन यूनिवर्सिटी में इतने साल से फ़ीस नहीं बढ़ी, इसमें यूनिवर्सिटी को बहुत क्षति पहुंची है।
मैंने कहा आगे मत बढ़ाइएगा, गांव का लड़का, गरीब घर का लड़का पढ़ने नहीं आ सकता। इलाहाबाद यूनिवर्सिटी की खासियत, इसको आगे मत करिएगा, ये नहीं है। और यहाँ पे मोबाइल मैं ये तो नहीं कहना चाहता।
I think this discussion will go on.
He is a PhD.
So,
I think we are closing
नहीं,
the
तुम बता दो।
discussions now. Please sit down.
Only last question.
Sir,
He is waiting
sir,
for quite
if
a
you,
long
if you can allow me one last question, and I wanted to touch a topic probably nobody touched it. सर जब आप हमारे विश्वविद्यालय के सभी बड़े बड़े लोगों का नाम ले रहे थे तो राजनीति, जुडिशरी, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, एकेडमिक्स, लिटरेचर, एक चीज़ completely missed है. We did not name any CEOs. Probably we don't have, I don't know.
We have many.
No, I know we have many, but we missed them. And that's where the
And
future.
one of them is here.
No, I know them.
HMP Singh, sir.
Yeah, so I just wanted to highlight, this is where we are missing. And chart, no, so that's exactly what I'm saying. There is a big community where the future of this country is probably going to lie.
See, we have our luminaries in all the field.
Correct.
So, if anybody is left, it is not named. It is not that they are not there.
No, sir. मेरी आपत्ति इसमें
It
नहीं कि
is,
नाम क्यों
it
नहीं
is
लिया.
not
All I'm
possible
trying
to name everybody.
I am very touched with your emotion. We will take care of this. Don't
No,
worry.
the reason that is important, ma'am, that
I am very, very touched with what you said. And we should keep in mind.
I'll tell you why I touched it.
Your point has been understood. Thank you so much. It will be taken care of, and the CEOs definitely deserve a mention. Ma'am has agreed to it, so no further explanation is required. It will be taken care of. Your point has been taken. Thank you.
Mr. Singh, do you want to raise a question?
It should be a question. Is it a question or a description? Okay, go ahead with the question, please. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Only one question.
मैडम मैं पहले आपको नमस्कार. मैं अखिलेश मिश्रा हूँ और इलाहाबाद यूनिवर्सिटी से एमएससी फिजिक्स से किया. इसके बाद पीएचडी आईटी में. Now I am in the Ministry of Science and Technology and taking care of several
Your question, please.
extramural projects. तो मैडम मेरा ये कहना है कि जब तक रिसर्च एंड इनोवेशन पे हम लोग फोकस नहीं करेंगे तब तक एनआईआरएफ रैंकिंग के तरफ ध्यान देना मुश्किल होगा. और जितने स्टूडेंट आप बता रही हैं वो हमारे एसेट्स हैं मैम. हम उनको पोटेंशियली यूटिलाइज करें उस तरह से रिसर्च प्रोजेक्ट में या डिफरेंट प्रोजेक्ट में. तो मैं ये कहना चाह रहा था कि एज ए फंडिंग एजेंसी, लार्जेस्ट फंडिंग एजेंसी इन इंडिया, हमारे पास इलाहाबाद यूनिवर्सिटी से रिसर्च प्रोजेक्ट नहीं आते हैं. बनस्पत जो साउथ में छोटे छोटे कॉलेज हैं वहाँ से बहुत सारे प्रोजेक्ट आते हैं, हम उनको फंड भी करते हैं. बट इलाहाबाद यूनिवर्सिटी से उतने फंड नहीं, उतने प्रोजेक्ट नहीं आ पाते हैं.
अभी 6 महीने पहले 300 टीचर्स नियुक्त हुए हैं. अभी थोड़ा सेटल होंगे,
बिल्कुल मैम।
प्रोजेक्ट्स बनाएंगे, मैंने कहा है उन लोगों से वो बनाएंगे, भेजेंगे।
मैम केवल एक रिक्वेस्ट है कि अगर आप ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं तो हम लोग वहाँ जा कर के सारी फैकल्टी को हाउ टू राइट ए गुड प्रोजेक्ट एंड व्हाट आर द फंडिंग अपॉर्चुनिटी अक्रॉस द इंडिया वी विल डेमोन्स्ट्रेट देयर, वी विल डेमोन्स्ट्रेट। श्योर मैम, श्योर मैम, थैंक यू।
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is this insatiable desire and hunger to go on and on with discussions with ma'am, because this is one of the rarest of rare opportunities. We may not get this opportunity in future again, but as ma'am has said that there is an opportunity in the month of December where this alumni meet is going to be organized, and as many as possible out of you can go and participate and contribute as senior alumni. I mean, do some serious introspection and see how each one of us can contribute for the betterment of our alma mater, whether tangible benefits or non-tangible support or tangible support in whatever manner. Thank you so much once again for your encouraging words, queries, of course. Now, I would request our President, Shri Yogendra Narayan ji, and our Honorary Secretary, Dr. R.K. Shrivastava, to please present a memento to the guests as a token of their gratitude. And I would expect a very big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, yep. Yes, would request Dr. Shrivastava to present a memento to Shri B.K. Chaturvedi in token of the gratitude from the Alumni Association. Thank you, sir, for being with us, for finding time to grace the occasion.